Hello, welcome to lesson B11, adding and subtracting radicals plus multiplying radicals expressions. Okay, we're going to start with example number 1, add and subtract. Here I have two radicals that I'm trying to add, and because both of them have square root of 15, that means there are like terms. Basically in class I kind of showed you the example that this would be similar to if I had 5x plus 2x. They have like terms, so that means I would add it and get 7x. So instead of x here I have square root of 15, so 5 plus 2 is 7 square root of 15. The next problem I have, again, like terms because they are both cube root of 2y. So basically 9 minus 15 is negative 6. On the next one, if you notice, they are not the same roots, so therefore they are not like terms. And since I cannot do anything else, then the answer stays the same. Okay. Also here, not only the root that you have to look for is also the number inside the root. Since this is square root of 10 and this is square root of 2, I cannot combine these two because they have different numbers inside the radical. So that means this stays the same. The next problem, it looks similar to the previous one, but if you take a closer look, we can simplify square root of 50, and we can also simplify square root of 18. So that's what we're going to do. We take the prime factorization of 50, and we get 2 to the first, 5 to the second. The 5 can come out, so I have 5 square root of 2. I do a similar thing here with 5 square root of 18. I do the prime factorization. I will remove the 3, so the 3 comes out as 3 to the first, and inside you have square root of 2, and 3 times 5 is 15. So basically square root of 50 simplified as 5 square root of 2. 5 square root of 18 simplified as 15 square root of 2. And now I can combine these two to give me 20 square root of 2. Alright, very well. Let's go on to the next problem. Here I'm adding and subtracting radicals. At first look, it looks like I cannot do anything, but I need to always try to simplify the radical and hope that I'll be able to combine something. So when I do the prime factorization 24, I get these numbers. I also did the prime factorization of 192 and I got these numbers. So then I wrote the prime factorization inside the radicals, like so. And for the first one, 2 to the third can come out, so it comes out as 2, and the 3 stays inside. On the second one, I have 2 to the 6 times 3 to the first, so 2 to the 6 can come out. 6 divided by 3 is 2 to the second. The 3 stayed inside. And this one, there's nothing really that I can do, just write it down. Then over here, the next step would be to combine these numbers. So 4 times 2 to the second is 16, because 2 to the second is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. Alright, now if you notice, now I have like terms. They all have cube root of 3. So 2 minus 16 is negative 14. Negative 14 plus the invisible 1 is negative 13. So that's my answer, negative 13 cube root of 3. Alright, let's go on to the next problem. The next problem again, I have 3 radicals and I'm going to try to combine it. But before I combine it, I need to see if they're like terms by trying to reduce the inside the radical. So I do the prime factorization for each number here. And then I write the prime factorization inside the radicals. So basically I'm copying this, but in factor form. Okay, so I noticed that the 2 to the second can come out, so the 2 comes out. 2 times square root of 5x. Here is 2 to the fourth, so it comes out as 2 to the second. And 2 to the second is 4, so 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. And the last one, I can come out I can take out the 3 to the second, which comes out as 3 to the first. Now that I have simplified these, I notice that I have two similar terms, two like terms, 2 square root of 5x minus 3 square root of 5x. So I combine these two to give me negative 1 square root of 5x. And I bring down the 24 because I cannot combine with these guys because this is 5x and this is just x. So then this will be my final answer. Okay? Alright, next one. Next one I have 32, so I'll do the prime factorization. And as I remove it, 2 to the 4th comes out. Because I wrote, instead of writing 2 to the 5th, I wrote 2 to the 4th times 2 to the 1st. 2 to the 4th comes out as 2, and this 2 stay inside. On the other one, I also get 32, so I write it again, 2 to the 4th. And 2 to the 4th comes out as 2 to the 2nd, and there's a 2 that stays inside. And I cannot combine these two because this is fourth root, and this is square root, so they're not the same radical. The only thing I can do here is 2 to the 2nd equals 4. Okay, so then I'll leave my answer like that. Alright, let's go on to the next problem. Next problem is letter I, and again, I'm trying to add these two radicals. So first of all, I'm going to try to do the prime factorization. And when I do it, I can come on the first one, 8 is 2 to the 3rd, y to, if you notice, this was y to the 5th, so I rewrote it, y to the 3rd, y to the 2nd, so I could remove as much as I could. So the 2 to the 3rd comes out, and y to the 3rd comes out as 2 to the y, 2 times y, and the y squared stayed inside. On the next one, I wrote 3 to the 3rd. I split the y to the 5th as y to the 3rd, y to the 2nd. The y to the 3rd and the 3 to the 3rd comes out as 3y. And then I notice now that I have like terms, so I'm going to go ahead and combine them. 2y plus 3y is 5y, cube root of y squared. Alright, letter I. Again, at first look, it doesn't look like we can combine it, but we always should try to simplify the radicals. And as I try to simplify 75, I notice the 75 is 5 to the 2nd times 3. So that means the 5 comes out, and it becomes 5 square root of 3. So over here, I rewrote it, 75 as 5 square root of 3 over 9 minus square root of 3 over 2. Now I can combine these two, but first, before I can combine them, I need to find a common denominator. So that means I'm going to multiply top and bottom here of the first fraction by 2. That will give me the same denominator of 18. And on the second fraction, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 9 to give a denominator of 18. So now I have a common denominator. I multiply over here. 5 times 2 is 10 square root of 3. And this would be 9 square root of 3. Now that I have same denominator and same radicals, I can combine these to become 10 minus 9 is 1 square root of 3 over 18. Okay, here we go to letter K. We have a fraction and another number without a fraction. Well, first of all, try to do the prime factorization. This would be cube root of 5x over 27. I went ahead and split the radical, and I noticed that the 3 can come out. So this would be the cube root of 5x over 3. In the second one, there's nothing I can do right now, so I just copy. But now that I'm closer to getting an answer, I decide to combine these two, but I need to find a common denominator, so I multiply the second one by 3 over 3, and that will give me 4 times 3 is 12, cube root of 5x. I brought this guy down. Can I combine these two? Yes, I can. Remember, there's an invisible 1 right here. So 1 plus 12 is 13, cube root of 5x over 3. And that's my answer. Alright, let's go on to the next problem. Next problem is talking about multiply radical expressions. So we have square root of 2 multiplying 6 plus square root of 10. So what do? We use distributive property. So square root of 2 times 6 is 6 square root of 2. Square root of 2 times 10 is 20. Square root of 20. Now that I have this, I try to simplify 20. by doing the prime factorization, and I find it is 2 to the second times 5. Oops, went the wrong direction there. The 2 comes out, and it comes out as 2 square root of 5, and I notice that I can do nothing else because the radicals are different, so my final answer is that. Alright, the next problem is, it looks like a binomial, right? Because you have a square root of 3 minus square root of 5 times square root of 2 plus 7. So basically I do FOIL, and I multiply the first times the second, so square root of 3 times square root of 2 is square root of 6. I do the outside numbers, so square root of 3 times 7 is 7 square root of 3, and negative square root of 5 times square root of 2 is negative square root of 10. I try to combine them, but I can't, so then basically I write these numbers right here, and the last one is square root of 5 times 7 is negative 7 square root of 5, and there's nothing here that I can combine, so I leave my answer like that. That is not always going to be the case, but in this particular one, you cannot combine anybody. Okay, on the next one, we're going to apply FOIL again. Square root of 5y times square root of 5 is basically whenever you multiply a square root by itself, basically you just get the number inside. So basically it's not surprised that here I get 5y, because square root of 5y times square root of 5y is 5y. I multiply the outside numbers, which is square root of 5y times negative 2 gives me this one. And the inside, when I multiply these two, I get this inside, and I notice when I try to combine, they both cancel, which is great. And then 2 times negative 2 equals negative 4. So that's my final answer. Alright, let's go on to letter D. Letter D again is FOIL. So basically it's written in exponent form. So basically what I like to do is just rewrite it, you know, to the second power means you're going to write it once times itself, and then all you do is apply FOIL. So the first times the first gives you square root of 9, which is basically 3. Okay, with time you kind of get used to that multiplying square root times itself just gives you the number inside the radical. So see, square root of 3 times square root of 3 gives you the number inside, which is 3. Then I multiply the outer numbers and gave me this. I multiplied the inner numbers and gave me that. And now it's time to combine. So I can combine. So it gives me negative 14 square root of 3. And then I'll do the last times the last, gives me 49. And if you notice, square root of 9 became 3. And now I can combine 3 plus 49, which is 52. Bring down the negative 14 square root of 3. And that will be my final answer. Okay, last example. We have square root of x plus 1 plus 2 raised to the square. Again, you're going to write it twice, and you're going to apply FOIL. The first times the first, it basically gets rid of the radical. Okay, and then the outer number gives me that. The inner number gives me that. We're going to combine it, giving us 4 square root of x plus 1. And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so basically now I can combine the 1 with the 4, which gives me 5, and there's nothing else I can combine, so that stays like that. And that concludes the lesson B11. This is the assignment. So thank you very much for your time, and have a great day. Bye bye.